Alrighty, hello. So yeah, pretty much the stream. I'm just gonna start working on the new room that I've been talking about for the past few streams. And that will be the engine room. A few days ago, I guess it was last Sunday, I was streaming a night. Myself and a few people watching were talking about some new rooms to make, and I asked them what the next one I should make was. And the engine room was given as a suggestion. I forgot that these are all relevant. And it's a suggestion that I liked. I think it will fit well with the space I have to build within. So I'm just gonna take the elevator down, do the fast travel to get down there, and then we'll get started. I don't know how far along I'll get with it today, but I want to at least get the structure of the room built and then start building the interior of it. Obviously, I have a pretty good idea of what I want to make. So one other thing I did yesterday after I ended the stream, I did this afterwards. I once again redid the little ledge up here that the waterfall comes out of. I kept the original shape I made yesterday, but then I had a little support thing right here. It was kind of like a square shape. I didn't really like it. I decided to add another layer of bricks down here and then smooth it out with some stairs. I did that on both sides. And then from a distance, I think it looks a lot better than even what I did yesterday, especially better than when it was just a straight across. Alright, let's see, where are we going here? What's the closest area? Probably the inventing room. No, main corridor. Yes. Oh, I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but this room here, the Al Cappuccino room, I think I'm going to change it to something else because I forgot that I now have this massive area over here for the storage tanks. There's not really a lot of room to work with over here. So this room will get done after I finish these last two rooms in the Chocolate River, but this sign will get replaced with something else. Oh, actually, it'd be faster if I went this way. Somewhat soon, I really need to start hooking up some of these elevator stops so I can get to areas quicker, instead of having to only teleport to the 4 different stops that are already hooked up. Because that's the main reason I wanted to decide I didn't have to be doing this when I wanted to get around, travel around fast. Okay, so you need to take one final look at the space I have. Alright, I want to put it over here. This is going to be the big room of this area, because I actually want it to be pretty tall. So what I'm planning to do is essentially, so this is going to be the engine room, and I want it to act kind of as the power plant for the factory. So I'm thinking of doing a design with some glass and some lighting, and I might put in some command blocks that fire off fireworks as well to make it just seem really crazy. But it's going to kind of look like a nuclear reactor, I guess. More like a cartoonish one, though. Okay, actually, I don't want to do that. I want to use sea lanterns. So right now I'm going to start planning out how large I want the actual room itself to be. So I think I probably have at least, I can make this almost as big as I want it to be. I do have to watch out for this up here, though. That's probably 60 some blocks, though. So it is important that I do want to try to get this room to be as tall as I can. Now, but the thing is, I don't need it to be necessarily like an actual big room. I just need it to be tall. But I do want it to be a sphere, I think. So there's really no way to get around that unless I, like, you know, I could technically cut it in half, like, if I wanted, but I need to see how large I can make this thing. So first I'm going to try 60, I think. And then we'll go from there. I can, like, really easily, you know, delete it with World Edit and all that. Alright, that's 60. I realized I wanted to use sea lanterns for that. That's the whole reason I got these. Okay. Not exactly sure what color I'm going to use yet, so usually I just use a placeholder. I use white concrete. So we're going to do a hollow sphere, white concrete, 60. And now I need to go check to make sure I didn't run into anything. Okay, so I can move that. I can move that back one more. How close are we to this? Oh, we are very close. Alright, that's actually probably about as large as it can be. You know, really, I could only move it out like maybe 2 blocks larger, but I usually like to try to keep it an even number. But 60 should definitely get the job done. This is definitely the biggest dome out of, like, these ones right here. And then there'll be a smaller one here. Probably even smaller than that one. Maybe something like that size right there. But anyway, I want to undo that. And now I can move it back by 1. Hey, what's up, commentary? How you doing? Starting the engine room today. And that shouldn't change anything. Yeah. This room here is the this is the repressed memories room. It's kind of a gag one. It's kind of just nothing crazy, but it's sort of funny. Okay. So, like I talked about before, the way the World Edit works, it does it based off of the radius. So this is actually a 120 block wide sphere. Or not wide. The diameter is 120 blocks. Yeah, I'm kind of interested myself to see how this turns out. I have some ideas, but admittedly not too many. I'm a little worried about getting enough stuff in here to fill up the space. Because I wanted this room to be large because I want it to be very vertical. Because the things I'm going to build are going to be tall. But they weren't necessarily going to be like a large mass. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Basically what I'm thinking of doing is, the way I have the exterior of the TV room built, it has those like hourglass sort of, well, not an hourglass. I guess it's kind of an hourglass shape. It's like made of glass. It has lights inside. I want to do something similar to that, but I want to go a lot crazier with the lighting. I want the lights to be flashing, and then I think I want command blocks that shoot out fireworks out of this thing. So it looks like, not like it's exploding, but like it's really doing something. But that probably won't get done today, because this is, the beginning stage is always like the slowest part. But the color palette I want to use, I'm kind of torn because the reactor looking thing that's on top of the TV room uses light blue stained glass. But I think that's also, like, at least for me, when I think of like a reactor, I think of light blue. So I would like to use this light blue again, but I don't want them to look the same. Another one I was thinking of is potentially either lime or yellow. Maybe red. I want it to be, kind of like a brighter color, but I'm really leaning towards blue. And this room can't really be white. This was just a temporary, because I think I'm going to use white a good bit for the thing I'm going to build. So I'm going to undo this again. And I'm just going to look for a block that I think would look good. I might do... It'd be kind of crazy, but I might do like a yellow. Because, like the classic symbol for like radiation or a nuclear whatever with the yellow and black. I usually stay away though from making the rooms themselves like a exciting color. With the exception, like that one's pink, but that room is literally called the pink room, so that's why it's pink. But I think I'm gonna go with yellow. But I'm probably gonna try yellow terracotta first. Instead of concrete, because it's a little bit less bright. And how is that gonna look? The only thing I don't necessarily love is the texture. I'm gonna try it with concrete as well, see which one I like more. I'm gonna switch back and forth between them one more time. So, concrete, terracotta. I think I'm leaning towards terracotta. Yeah, we'll go with that. Oh, something that I wanted to do this time around, which I have not done anywhere else. I actually want to leave enough. I want to put like a gap that's in bits. So like normally I would just have the room come right up to here, and then you'd have like a 1 block gap, and then you'd immediately be into the room. But I want to leave some space here so I can put the elevator in here instead of somewhere else into the room. So I need it real quick. I'm glad I remembered to do that because I was planning on doing that, just kind of forgot. I need to see how much space this takes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I need 8 blocks. So I'm going to move this out by 8 blocks. And we might be getting close to that up there. I need to make sure I don't hit it. I think it's probably fine. I know we're getting close though. Oh yeah. Okay, so literally, well, it wouldn't really matter because this would fit underneath it anyway, but we have a few more blocks to work with. But I want to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And I usually don't do this, but I am going to build the door first because I really need to make sure I get this spacing right. So the way that I always do it, I always fill this deepest section in so that I can build the door like recessed into the wall. so it's not flat. Alright, and now I know this kind of looks a little bit counterintuitive. And now I have to also take out this. And now I can actually build it. This is something I might go back and do in some of the rooms I already built, where I have enough space to do it. I can just copy basically the entire room, even though it's complete, and then I can basically delete it and then move it back a few blocks. So something else I need to make sure is, because I always put these lights in, I need to make sure that the lights sticking out aren't going to impede anything. I don't think they should, though. Because the actual mechanism for the elevator won't be here. It'll be back a few blocks. So as long as I start at like 1 block back, it should be good. So yeah. Actually, how many blocks is that total? I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's actually a problem. I need to move this whole thing back by 1. I need it to be, I don't need it to be, but I would like it to be an even number, because the doors are 2 blocks wide when I build them like this, and obviously that would not look super great. So unfortunately I'm going to have to redo that. I moved it out 1 block too much. Yeah, I gotta just cut this out. And let me do this ahead of time to make sure I don't mess it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, yeah, that's how it should be. And then I can do this quicker than having to fill it in. I can just do this. Oh, world edit. I don't know what I would do without you. Doing this stuff is like my least favorite part of building on this world. Like the pre-setup for the rooms, getting the like dimensions right and all that crap. It's like, it's very boring. That's why I took a break the last few days. I needed to do something else. Well, I mean I take a break by working on something else. Alright, and that should be fine, because the elevator doors can go right there, right in the middle. And it should fit. No problem. If I still somehow messed it up, I can copy and paste the whole thing back a few blocks later, but that should be good. What I'll do, I'm not going to do it now, but I will basically just extend like this exact shape back. So the hallway will be a little bit larger than most of them that I would normally make for a situation like this. And then the elevator I will probably put on, on this side. Alright, but now we got that taken care of. So I do think that I'm going to just fill the floor in here level. In the last room I was working on stream, the drink fizzery room, I left this gap in here so it looked like everything was floating, as I'm sure people might remember. But this time I just want the floor to be flat. What I might end up doing is like I'll put the floor in at the level that the door is, so this will all get cut off. You won't see it. But wherever I put these like power plant things that I want to put in, I might cut a hole in the ground and they can just go through the hole. So it looks like part of the machine is hidden, but you can still kind of see down there a little bit. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is I always build a little like crosshair thing, like a little grid. It makes putting the floor in a lot faster with World Edit doing it this way. This might be another room where I'm probably not going to put a whole lot of overhead lights in because I'm going to have so many lighting effects on the actual machine itself that it'll like light things up just with that. I think it'll look pretty cool. Alright, the floor. I usually go with... I use polished deep slate a lot because it has the ever so slight hint of looking reflective, I should say. Sometimes I just go with something boring like light gray concrete's another one, or sometimes if I really feel like it, I do a pattern on the floor, but I only did that a few times and it was not worth the effort. So I'm probably going to go with polished deep slate. And if I hate it, this is something that can be easily fixed later. I think it's a good block to do details in as well. But it's going to be very dark in here, so I'm just going to probably spam a bunch of sea lanterns on the ground to keep the room lit up until it's finished. I need to check to make sure that what I just did didn't like impale anything else, because the drawback of doing it that way is that it creates this on the outside, but no one's ever going to see it, so it's worth it. But it looks okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and light everything up really fast. I hate working in the dark. I know that probably looks very disorienting, but I'm watching the feedback, like the stream right now, and because it's only recorded in 60 FPS. It looks a lot worse on the stream than it does for me at 100 FPS. Sometimes I think about it. I got a new monitor basically around Christmas. And before then, I had been using a 60 hertz monitor for my entire life. It was a 4K, so it was kind of worth the trade-off, but I finally upgraded to a higher refresh rate. It's so much better. This is a 120 hertz panel, but I usually lock Minecraft at 100 because once you start building a lot of stuff in Java Edition, you're not really going to be running at 120 anyway, so it just prevents screen tearing if I lock it at 100. Okay. So I know this looks like crap right now, but we're going to start adding some things in. One thing I want to do is I want to pull up a picture on my other screen really fast. So because this is so large, I might put like 2 of these things in here. Or maybe I could fit in 4 of them. I'm not really sure yet, but what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to build like one of them in the center. And then I can copy and move it around. Although, I think I take back what I just said because I'm really relying on the vertical height of this room. And if I put one anywhere other than the center of this room, it's gonna get cut off by the ceiling. So I'm gonna put the main thing. I think what I'll do is the main thing that I'm building, I'm only gonna have one of them because it's very tall. It's sort of like a tower shape. I'll put that in the center, and then I can maybe put some other like machinery in each corner that's like feeding into it or something like that. So I want to find the dead center. Nope. I think it's that one. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, mark that permanently so I don't forget it. Move these back just a little bit. So it's going to start kind of with a base. And I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use white concrete. Because the color scheme I'm sort of thinking of is like a white and blue, I think. So another thing I want to see is just guess real quick how large this upper circle is, because I don't want it to go out too far onto the sides because that'll limit how tall I can build it. 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, that's at least 25. I'm gonna try like about a 25 block circle down here. So we're gonna start with hollow cylinder of white concrete, and we'll start with 12. That should do a 24. So it's gonna kind of like an hourglass shape. It's gonna slowly get narrower until the top, and then on the inside of this I'm gonna have glass, which is gonna go up even further. So I need that to be a good bit larger. Hey, Fogarty, how's it going? Yeah, I do streams kind of just when I feel like it. Usually in the afternoon during the week. Just as an easy way for me to show off what I'm doing, other than having, to try to make it like a a video with a bunch of editing and making sure it's not too boring to watch. But I appreciate the comment. Thank you. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, it was a lot of... It took a long time to make. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the commentary... I had a lot of fun making those commentary videos. I know there's not really many people that they're applicable to, but I just enjoy talking about this build, so it was an excuse for me to do that. And right now I'm working on a new room for deep in the depths of the factory. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I always, when people like, is this all single player? Yeah, this is all single player. Eventually, whenever I feel the map is far enough along, I'll put the world download up, and then people can, do whatever they want with the map. It is built in a way that is, how can I say it? It was built with multiplayer in mind, so like some of the features won't be broken on a multiplayer server. At least they shouldn't. So it should work just as well on a server as it will in a single player. Oh, wrong size. Yeah, only one mod that you will have to play is the colored water mod. And it hasn't been updated since 1.20. So this whole map has been built so far in 1.20. I haven't checked the mod page in months, but last time I looked, it hasn't been updated for a few versions. So you can play the map without mods. Well, the only mod. It's a CurseForge mod. And if you play without it, the only thing that'll be broken is the chocolate river will be empty. So it'll look a little weird. I actually do plan to put some create mod stuff in here later. Just for me though, like after the world download goes out, like I won't put anything in from the create mod before that. And the main reason I don't use it is I'm not like the biggest fan of the aesthetic of it. And also I don't really like how the chocolate looks. I'm just not a big fan of the texture on it. And it moves really slow, and it would take, I don't even want to think of how long it would take to fill up this entire area. So I just like using the colored water mod because I like how the brown water looks more. So, but I do plan to put some like machines in here later that actually make chocolate bars and actually makes candy. But I really have to figure out how I want to do that so it fits the aesthetic of the factory, because the steampunk vibe it has is like as far away from this style as it could possibly be. So I'm gonna have to like try to hide everything. I've had a few people mention the crate mod to me after that. They were like, when the download goes up, that they're gonna go ahead and put in a bunch of like contraptions in. So I'm not doing that. Because of that reason, I'm not doing it before the world download goes out, just so people can do it themselves if they already have plans for it. Alright, so I'm starting to think this entire thing could be larger. Try 25. Yeah, that's a little bit more what I was thinking. Oh, really? That's actually pretty sick. That's something that I really like that people do. So, like on their other versions of this build. So, I always wondered, is that something that can be done like all vanilla, or does that require some type of mod? I don't really know anything about that stuff. I'm guessing it's vanilla. That's cool. That's something that I'd be interested in doing later on down the line, whenever the map is getting close to completion. Because that would really help the grand reveal a little bit. Oh, really? That's cool. What update would it be? Do you like know what version that was added? Oh, 1.19? Alright, cool. So that would actually work then, because... Yeah, 1.20 is what this is on. I'm pretty sure the guy who made the colored water mod abandoned it, so I doubt it's ever going to get updated any further. And I'm glad that what you're talking about is vanilla, because I'm hesitant to do more things that are relying on mods, because I know that as soon as you add a mod to a world download that like it requires one, that already like eliminates a bunch of people who will download it. And the more mods you add, it alienates even more people, so I've been trying to avoid having to use more mods. Yeah, I think actually before I found this mod, I was doing some research into it, and that's basically like what all of the information was telling me. And I actually looked into it, but I couldn't find one really that was for like a new enough version that was already made for brown water, because I don't think many people want their water to be brown. So I looked into it, and I started actually making one, but it was just more effort than I wanted to put in at the time. But it would be possible because I have I mean, this is a super flat world, and I have the entire world set to, what is it? Like snow biome or something? Yeah, snowy plains is the entire map, so that would be possible. I just don't really have the skills to do that, I don't think. Whoops. Yeah. Something actually that I need to figure out how to do, and I looked into it. I'm not usually, like, outside of this map, I'm not a big, like Like, I don't really make this kind of thing, like, otherwise. So there is some stuff that I know, but, like, mostly from, like, years ago. I need to find a way to like be able to set the spawn for the map to a specific place, and I'm like positive there's a way to do that. I just haven't found out how to yet. Ooh, you know what? I need to use some slabs. And the quartz slabs are gonna contrast too much. Well, that actually looks kind of neat. I tried doing that and it wasn't working for some reason. Like, there was something weird. I don't know why it wasn't working, but you know, I would do tests where I did that. I would set the spawn, and I had to do all the testing, you know, like I would put it on a flash drive, then put it into a different computer with a different account to test, to like simulate, you know, someone with an account other than mine doing it, and it wouldn't work. It's been a while since I've tried, though. Yeah, whenever like I'm ready to start adding some of that stuff in, I can definitely like contact you and see if we can come up with something. It probably won't be for a while, but whenever the time comes, yeah. I can definitely relate to that feeling. This is, in my lifetime, this is probably like my somewhere between my 7th and 10th attempt of building this thing. This is the only time I've ever gotten it to this point, where all the stuff you see in the movie is actually complete. And now I'm just building a bunch of extra stuff. Like, I never did that before. It took a long time. Cool. When I'm done streaming here today, I'll add you on there. That's kind of the thing. I don't really have a set time. I've been just telling people whenever I feel like it's finished enough. And I've been telling people that for like 4 months now, so. I started on this map last September, so, you know, I've been working on it for well over half a year at this point. I guess you could say my unofficial goal is by the end of the year. I don't know if I'll hit that, though. Coming up, starting for probably the beginning of the summer, I won't really have a lot of, or maybe even most of the summer, I won't have a lot of time to work on it. But I try to make like progress like slow and steady, so. Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. If my original video on my channel that was published, I think January, March, almost 3 months ago, I think. Even since that point, like almost every single scene in that video is outdated now because I've gone back and changed just about everything. Even as recently as yesterday, I just made a bunch of changes to the chocolate room. And my commentary videos talked about a lot of those that I made at the time, but even since those videos have been made, I've changed like so much stuff already that I actually went back yesterday and changed the description to my first video saying that how outdated it is now. Because when I go back and look at it, like I'm like, wow, some of these areas look like total crap, and they look so much better now. So eventually, I'm going to basically do an updated version of that video and just remake it so it looks better. Yeah, it's been really fun doing this, honestly. I'm up to about, if we're not counting the one scene in the movie, I'm up to a roughly 30, 25, 30 additional rooms, something like that. I keep telling myself that once I hit 50 is when I'll consider it like complete enough. So I'm slowly chipping away here. I guess I could have just spawned this circle in. I don't know why I'm doing this by hand. Oh well. So the way that I have enough space, I can actually show you. This is all underground. All the new rooms. So this is what I was just working on. This is a new wing of the Chocolate River that I built. And there's just a bunch of rooms that are all stacked around each other. This is the, this part of the Chocolate River is actually seen in the movie. Obviously we're on top of it right now. But this is the river. A lot of rooms just springing off of it. As of right now, I don't have any rooms, additional rooms actually built in like the interior of the factory itself, funny enough. The only rooms that are above ground are like the puppet show, the shrinking hallway, and the chocolate room. Everything else is below ground. I do plan to populate the actual literal factory building with some rooms though. Originally my plan was to do like in the opening credits of the movie where you see the chocolate being made. I was gonna put that in the actual factory itself, but there's not enough space. So I won't be able to put that in there. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I think the same thing. I always think about like, you know, if I put like some more work in and I cleaned up some of this area, I could if I really wanted to make it presentable that I could have like the elevator go through these parts. But that would just be so much work that I don't think I'm ever gonna do that. And then the parts of the factory like the where you see all the foundation and stuff, like all the towers where the elevator just like endlessly drops down and it goes through. Since I have those areas for the spots you see in the movie at least, I consider it good enough. But yeah, we're like, some of these areas are like very far away from the actual factory. Like we're probably a few thousand blocks away from it at this point. Don't want to do that yet. But yeah, like with what I'm making right here, I have like a general idea of what I want, but most of this I'm just coming up with on the fly. Actually, I'll do that with glass. I'm using my TV room exterior as like where I have those like tall looking blue towers. That's my main inspiration, but I'm just trying to modify that design so they don't look the same. I hate how you have to type this out. Probably gonna do this like one more layer up, and then that will be good enough for the base. Oh, that's annoying. I'm gonna have to go